roll call, Suzanne, please.
Counselor Bosco,
Here.
Counselor Sakala,
Here.
Counselor Hemler,
Here.
Counselor Kiner,
Here.
Mayor Ludwig,
Here.
Counselor Mangini,
Here.
Counselor Muller,
Here.
Counselor Riley,
Here.
Counselor Sferrazza,
Here.
Deputy Mayor Suzak,
Here.
and Counselor Ungary.
Here.
There's 11 members present, none are absent.
Thank you, Suzanne. Moving on to item 1, discussion resolution authorizing the town council to appoint personnel search committee for the position of town manager. Whereas the council wishes to appoint all 11 members of the council to the personnel search committee for the position of town manager. Now therefore be it resolved, the council authorizes the search committee to work with the town manager, acting town manager, town attorney, the director of human resources to recruit for the position of town manager, and to expend such sums as are reasonable and necessary to conduct the recruitment and selection process submitted by the town manager's office on August 12th, 2020.
So moved.
Second by Councilor Mangini, seconded by Councilor Muller. Do I turn over Attorney Talberg or Steve or Chris?
Hey, Mr. Mayor, if Attorney Talberg has anything, he can chime in, but good evening to you and the members of the council. As you're aware, this is predicated upon the fact that I've given notice that I'm going to be retiring on October 15th after about 30 years. This is my 31st year, and I've enjoyed working with all of you. I just like to say it's not a shock. When I took the job, we knew it wasn't going to be forever. I pretty much had said then that I'd stay about 2 years, so I stayed a little bit over that. I've been involved in, I guess this will be the 8th selection process for town manager. So it's not a monumental task. It's a doable task. And while there's no perfect time for a manager to leave, I think there's a right time. And this is the right time for us and for our town right now. You know, a couple of years ago, the manager left a little bit unexpectedly. We got caught a little off guard. We had a lot of positions that were open, a lot of projects that were in midway. And I think that you and I worked together to come up with a transition plan so we would not get caught short when I left. And we've worked very, very hard on that. I'm very proud of all that we've accomplished together. And I can say that the overarching goal was to fill those positions, which we have done, over 10 critical positions of department heads and deputy directors. We've done that. They are a very talented group of people and professionals, and they will augment the seasoned veterans that have been here for a while who are going to help the new managers such as Steve and John. Also, we have Suzanne and really good veterans in the town manager's office, Debbie and Maya. One of the critical things we wanted to do was to have an assistant town manager position. So we selected a very, very superb individual, Kasha Perciello. She will have the institutional knowledge to make the transition smooth and to help the new manager get up to speed on projects and get a feel for the town in short order. So we accomplished the goal that we had. I'm very excited with a lot of the projects that we've been able to do over the last 2.5 years. And we're going to continue with that. In September and October, I'll be able to give you updates. We have a lot of movement and good things to report on the acquisition of the Eversource building, on the opening and the dedication of the water pollution control, on our plans for Higgins Park, our strategy for the Lamagna Center and the Strand. We got a lot of things in motion. We've accomplished a lot. And I think this will be a very smooth transition. I will expect that we're going to get a strong group of candidates for whom you can choose from. And any one of them is going to be privileged and fortunate to be the next town manager. I'd just like to say we have the best employees, town employees in the state. That's why we have such a terrific town organization. And there'll be plenty of time to say goodbye over the next couple months, but I'd like to thank our residents for all of their support, their friendship to me in all of my various capacities over the last 30 years. And most recently, I'd like to thank them for their patience and understanding and all of their help making us get through this very trying 6 months of COVID-19. We've worked hard. I think it's good. This is a perfect timing for this, Mr. Mayor and councilors, because it's after the successful reopening of town government. It's before the budget process. It's before your municipal elections. And we're going to get a really strong town manager that hopefully will be with us and direct the town over the next 10 years. So thank you.
Thank you, Chris. I don't know, Steve, or do you just want to open up to the council?
Yes, I reached out to Joel and Earl. There you go.
So,
She's the
so
recruiter that
Steve,
we,
would that be for the next resolution to talk about that?
yes, want to wait till that?
All right, well, yeah, let's wait to the next, to item
Okay.
2. Yep.
Right.
With that, so I'm gonna go right to left. Deputy Mayor Suzak, any questions or comments?
No, I'd just like to thank Chris for his years of service and his enthusiasm for getting things done and accomplished in Enfield. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Muller.
I'd like to thank Chris as well. I've really enjoyed working with you on all these projects. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Ungary.
I just want to thank Chris for all his hard work and jumping in when he did, and I'm really sorry to see you go. Thanks.
Counselor Hemler.
Very sorry to see you go, Chris. I think you're an asset to Enfield. That's it. Thank you.
Counselor Bosco.
Well, I hate to see you go, Chris, but I can't wait to go with you.
Counselor Keiner.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. You know, I've been involved in Enfield politics for a very long time, going back probably 50 years. And during that period of time, I've seen a lot of town managers. Some were good, some perhaps not so good, and one or two I would consider great. And I really believe, Chris, can you hear me? I believe you are one of the great ones. There's no doubt about that. And I just wanted to just make one more quick comment. Chris, I always enjoyed your sense of humor. You know, there was one occasion, I remember this, it's indelled in my mind. We were at a town council meeting and I brought up the fact that the freshwater dam needed repairs. And one or two council meetings went by. I didn't believe anything was being done. And I brought it up again. And Chris was a tad irate. Strange it might sound. I know Chris never was irate or was ever irritated, but he was with me. And he said, "For Christ's sakes, Mr. Keiner, it's not the damn Hoover Dam." And that was it. And obviously, over a period of time, the freshwater dam was repaired. And Chris, we're going to lose a great cheerleader in you, and we're going to miss you. So God bless you.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you. Counselor Sakala.
Thank you. Chris, you and I have already spoken, so you know I'm sad. I hate to see you go. And Joey, you've been saying that for years. You're not going anywhere. You know that.
Thank you. Counselor Mangini.
Chris, you and I have history. I remember when you were town attorney, public safety director, now town manager, and you have excelled at all those positions. And you've held our town in the dearest of your heart, and you've done a fantastic job, and I thank you for that. But I have no words. It's going to be very sad to see you go, and whomever comes forward as a selectee is going to have a real tough time filling your shoes. So again, thank you.
Thank you, Cindy.
Counselor Riley.
Just wanted to say, thanks for your service, and I echo everybody else. Thanks.
Counselor Speraza.
Well, Chris, I think I'm the only one on the council that actually worked with you side by side. I think people forget sometimes. I think you've been the manager for 2 years. Your history with the town goes back over 30 years, town attorney, public safety director, town manager. And I concur with what Mr. Keiner said. I'll go another step further. I think you're the best town manager we ever had. You weren't content with just keeping the status quo for the 2 years. The blighted buildings that we saw here for decades are no more now because of your initiative. The Enfield Express, Higgins Park, you governed during a pandemic when no one had any blueprint or experience how to do that. And I think Enfield not only made it through, I think we led the area. And I think, Chris, the most important thing is you're respected by the people in town. I know the council respects you, and probably most important, your staff respects you. And I think you just have to go back to when we worked together in the police department, Chris, and we had a a motto that we lived by that used to serve us well, and it serves us well now. And we used to tell our officers, do the right thing all the time, especially when nobody's looking. And that's exactly what you've done. And that's why Enfield is the way it is today. So I wish you, Chris, success, happiness, and probably the most important thing of all is I wish you good health. Goodbye, Chris.
Thanks, Carl.
Thank you, Carl. Chris, I mean, it's I think a funny story when we think back 2.5 years ago and we had that meeting and you said, I'm only going to do it for 90 days. So all I want to do is sign up for one. And then I remember sitting there going, well, just take the job like you're going to do it forever. And you said, I'm only doing it for 90 days. And so I think, all the things everyone mentioned tonight, I think the one thing that you had the greatest impact on town government, and it will probably never get the credit it deserves, is the fact that when you came in, we looked at you and along with your department heads and all the hires that you brought on, all the quality people, went through every job description. We reran our job descriptions throughout the entire town government, which I know that it's not a project you can see, shining in the street or whatever it may be, but how important that was to change the way we governed. And it, of course, started with our employees. And again, you led that. And that is so important to where we are today. And again, obviously, we've worked very closely together. People don't know will probably never know all the work that you put in along with your staff over the last 6 months with the COVID-19 and how, prepared, how hard everyone worked, how hard you worked. And, this is a well-deserved retirement. I've known you for over 30 years. You're my friend. I'm going to miss working with you. I know the town of Enfield is a better place before you took it over 2.5 years ago as it is today. And I hope we all can say that whenever we do anything of these jobs. None of us some of us aren't that lucky, but again, you were, and again, the town's in a better place. We're going to miss your sense of humor. We're going to miss your hard work. And I consider you a friend, and I've really enjoyed working with you for 30 years. And the good news is I have your cell phone number, so I can still call you when I need to.
I'll be there. I'm not going far.
Thank
Thank
very
you,
much,
everybody.
sir.
Thank you, everybody. I agree. And I've enjoyed working with each and every one of you. And we still have 2 months, and we're not going to take our foot off the accelerator to the last minute on the last day. Thank you.
Suzanne, roll call, please.
Counselor Bosco,
4.
Counselor Sakala,
4.
Counselor Hemler,
4.
Counselor Keiner,
4.
Mayor Ludwig,
4.
Counselor Mangini,
4.
Counselor Muller,
4.
Counselor Riley,
4.
Counselor Sferrazza,
4.
Deputy Mayor Suzak,
4.
Counselor Ungary.
4.
There's 11 in favor, none against, no abstentions.
Thank you, Suzanne. Moving on to item 2, discussion resolution waiving the bid requirements for the town manager recruitment and selection process and for the selection of GovRUSA LLC. Be it resolved, as in accordance with Chapter 5, Section 8, Paragraph D of the Enfield Town Charter, the Enfield Town Council does hereby determine that it is not in the best interest of the town to require competitive bidding for the town manager recruitment and selection process. Be it resolved that the firm of GovRUSA LLC has been selected to provide such services, and be it further resolved that Christopher W. Bronson, town manager, is duly authorized to enter in and sign the contracts on behalf of the town of Enfield with Governor HRUSA LLC for town manager recruitment and selection process prepared on August 12, 2020 by the town manager's office.
So move.
By Councilor Muller,
Second.
by Councilor Mangini. So Chris, do I want to turn over to Steve or?
Yeah, Steve can
Yeah.
give a little background. HR Gov is very familiar with the town. They conducted the last set of, all of the interviews and the process. So they're ready to hit the ground running. And as Steve will be able to tell you, most of these groups use the same outlets, the same way to put the information out. They use the same websites and places that managers, the ICMA and different outlets. But I think the big advantage is if you were to go out to bid on something like this, and you can see that the cost of the service is not extraordinary, and they do a lot of work. But the advantage is if you were to go out to bid, it would take probably a month, perhaps 6 weeks. and then you would lose all of that time, and they probably would be the best group anyway. They're highly respected. We've used them in the past. Like I say, they really have the ability to get this out in short order, and they really have all the information already done, and council acting as the executive search committee can fill in a few blanks, but they'll get it out there right away and we won't lose any time. So I think it is definitely in the best interest of the town to go with this group.
And
Thank you.
Chris is
Go ahead, Steve.
Chris is exactly right. We are going to be tapping into our networks. There's a very short to no learning curve. She'll update our profile of the town of Enfield. We work very well together. I'll do a lot of the liaison work between her and the search committee, the town council, and we'll make this as seamless as possible to get this up and running and get all the logistics out of the way rapidly so we can start searching the marketplace for a new town manager who's going to have big shoes to fill. Let me just say that. But I already spoke to her last week, and just be prepared. A lot of this will probably be Zoom meetings because people can't travel, and if they do travel, they're coming from a quarantine state. Just makes things logistically tougher. But the finalists, I would imagine you probably would want to visit, so we just keep that in the back of our head. But as we're going through filtering out candidates, interviewing, it'll probably be done virtually because that's just the name of the game of how things are done right now. And it's more efficient and less save money too. In prior searches, we paid for people to come out here. Well, we won't have to have that expense anymore.
Thank you, Steve.
Yep.
Thank you.
I'm available
Chris,
for
anything else
questions.
or?
No, I just, we can get this waiver. I can get acting on it tomorrow morning and let her know that let's hit the ground running. She's already prepped and I told her what's happening. So she's ready.
Okay.
Nope, nothing further, Mr. Mayor.
So again, right to left, Deputy Mayor Suzak, any questions or comments?
I'm all set, thank you.
Councilor Muller,
All set. Thank you.
Councilor Ungary,
No questions. Thank you.
Councilor Hemler,
All set, thanks.
Councilor Bosco,
All set.
Councilor Keiner,
No questions, thanks.
Councilor Sakala,
Nothing, thank you.
Councilor Mangini, Councilor Mangini,
All set, thank you.
Councilor Riley,
No questions.
Councilor Speraza.
All set, thanks.
I am as well. Hearing none. Roll call. Suzanne, please.
Counselor Bosco,
4.
Counselor Sakala,
4.
Counselor Hemler,
4.
Counselor Keiner,
4.
Mayor Ludwig,
4.
Counselor Mangini,
4.
Counselor Muller,
4.
Counselor Riley,
4.
Counselor Taraza,
4.
Deputy Mayor Suzak,
4.
Counselor Ungary.
4.
There's 11 in favor, none against, no abstentions.
Thank you, Suzanne. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
By Councilor Muller,
Second.
Second.
by Councilor Mangini. All those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you, everyone. Have a
Bye,
good night.
everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.